Hi, guys. Welcome to Twin Perspective. I'm Joe, and tonight I'm going to be breaking down my top five greatest albums by Billy Joel. Now, Billy Joel's been one of my favorites my whole life. I was born in 71, and I grew up listening to the radio, and I loved Billy Joel for as long as I can remember, loving artists and loving music. But if you're a teenager and Billy Joel comes on the scene, I'm sure these albums mean something completely different to you. Billy Joel is like a career of music in just the 70s alone. And then in the 80s, he keeps doing it. And in the 90s, he keeps doing it. And then, the guy's just a songwriting machine. He's one of the best piano players ever. I mean, when he writes songs, to me, they're sophisticated. They use chords that aren't your normal pop chords. It might be an orchestral chord or a jazz chord or blues chord, or he'll play something that sounds like honky tonk, and then the next song is a rock song. I mean, what he does is he writes interesting, beautiful songs, and he's an amazing storyteller. He's one of my favorite lyricists of all time, without a doubt. And I do have an love affair with his music. But keep in mind, I became a teenager in the late 80s, so perhaps my opinion is different than yours. But here we go at number five, greatest albums by Billy Joel. I've got 52nd Street from 1978. This album includes the massive hits Big Shot, Honesty, and My Life. Now, I'm leaving I'm leaving his greatest hits off of contention. So before I get back to 52nd Street, I'm going to bring up the greatest hits, Volume 1 and Volume 2, which was released in 1985. This was one of the first albums I ever owned. It was like a history lesson, a collection. It was like a mixtape that I would have made if I would have been conscious to do so when I was 2, 3, 4, 5 years old. Okay, but this was just a collection of the greatest songs ever. And the next Billy Joel album I got was Piano Man. And then, throughout my life, I came upon all of his albums. Like, let's say, visiting my mom for the weekend. I'm 10 years old, 9 years old. And we visit one of her friends, and he had a Billy Joel collection. And so anytime we go there, I'd play another one of the records. And and besides, his hits were all over the radio. Like I said, going back to 52nd Street with Big Shot, Honesty, and My Life. To me, songs don't get better than My Life. I love that song. It's beautiful. It's that's the way you write a hit, and really appreciated this version of it because there was a radio edit version on the greatest hits of My Life. As a matter of fact, there was a radio edit of about 6 songs on that album. And so going back to the original albums was always a joy. Very few radio stations would play the album versions. So kudos to 52nd Street, which also featured Stiletto and Until the Night, which are 2 songs I enjoy as well. Now, at number four, I'm going with Glass Houses from 1980. This album includes You May Be Right, one of my favorites he's ever done, Sometimes a Fantasy, which is about, you know, either phone sex or masturbation or what's going on if you can't be here kind of deal. It's a good one. Billy Joel can be controversial at times. The hit "Don't Ask Me Why," and I love that song too. It's so different. Billy Joel touches on so many different genres throughout his career. A song like "Don't Ask Me Why," you know, you got to go places somewhere to find stuff like that. And then, bam, it's still rock and roll to me, which is a typical rock and roll song, but it's still rock and roll to me is definitely one of my favorites. Um, Much love to Bob Seger, but when Bob Seger says old time rock and roll, and I'm thinking, no, it's still rock and roll to me. Okay, Bob, Billy got it right. It's still rock and roll to me. Of course, very few artists nowadays are still rock and roll to me, but it's still rock and roll to me. Through the Long Night is also a song off of Glass Houses that I like. There you go from 1980. That's my number four album. At number three, greatest albums by Billy Joel. I'm going with the classic Piano Man from 1973. I have a special love affair with this album because, like I said, I obtained it early in my life, so earlier in my life than other Billy Joel albums. But I still love the album to this day. It feels like these songs, they're more, I feel like more genre specific for more of a country rock kind of thing. And he has exceptions in every album. But that is not why I love Piano Man. I just think these songs are great. Traveling Prayer opens up the album, and that's one of my favorites he's ever done. If you ever get to see the live version of that on YouTube, the Midnight Special thing, wow. Traveling Prayer is an unbelievable song. Unbelievable ability there with the musicians. And Billy's piano playing, I mean, his piano playing in that one, it just always blew me away. And then Piano Man, the song is probably everyone's favorite. I love it. It's beautiful. I know I'm a keyboard player, so I can relate. Ain't No Crime. That one's so bluesy and jazzy and funky, and just listen to the beginning of Ain't No Crime, and it'll hook you. And then it's got that classic New Orleans bum 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 bum, bum, and it. Oh, Jesus, wonderful stuff. You're My Home, which sounds like he's completely ripping off John Denver. That is an excellent song as well. The Ballad of Billy the Kid. Ballad of Billy the Kid is good. Worst Comes to Worst is very funky. Somewhere Along the Line. That's a deep song, good one. And then Captain Jack, which, you know, for a kid as young as I was listening to that, it made me think. At number two on my list, and this one is probably my favorite album he's done, but I'm putting it at number two because I have this respect. But I can admit this is my favorite album he's done. An Innocent Man from 1983. Now, he's had so many great albums in his career up to this point. I'm not sure how his fans felt about this album, but to me, this was the shit. Pardon my French, but this was the shit. It starts with Easy Money, and that is just funk, Motown-esque funk. I picture James Brown singing it. Hey, easy money. I love that song. Love the movie. Love the song. I don't think it's cheesy at all. And then An Innocent Man, the title track, and Billy hits these soaring notes in it. I'm an innocent man. Unbelievable song, and it's got that slow bass line like "Stand by Me" by Benny King. Boom, 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 boom. Unbelievable, unbelievable song. That one I didn't groove on when I was younger, but as I got older and I understood the ability it takes to write a song like that, yeah, The next song, The Longest Time, I loved from the second I heard it. I actually dedicated that song to a girl, and this album was released in '83. I probably did this in '85. I dedicated the song The Longest Time to her, and it's a doo-wop. And I'm not into doo-wop or anything. It's just a beautiful song, and it expressed exactly what I wanted to tell her. And you know what? I'm married to that girl right now. So Billy, yeah, his stuff works. There's another song on there called This Night. It's absolutely wonderful. It's so soulful, and a lot of this touches on Motown, including one of my all-time favorites by him, Tell Her About It. That is classic, fast, Motown-esque Phil Collins. Love it. Absolutely love it. I love that song the second I heard it. It was one of my favorites. To me, Tell Her About It by Billy Joel is one of those songs where I realized I have a preference in music, and it doesn't really matter what anybody else thinks. I like this, and I'm going to play this over and over again. And I'm a freak. I like a lot of new wave music, alternative music, and I appreciate the songwriters. I can love on Billy Joel any day of the week. I don't care how anybody feels about it. Tell Her About It just did it for me. Great song. The one I wasn't so high on was Uptown Girl. It's not like I don't like Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. It's just that it wasn't one of my favorites. It was a huge hit. And I tell you what, it's such a good song that I enjoy it. Leave a Tender Moment Alone. Incredible. That's Smokey Robinson-esque. I wish I could sing like the man, but that melody is so good. And the harmonica in there by Toots. Excellent song. And then Keeping the Faith, which has always been one of my favorites. And you know, it maybe it's too cheesy. I don't know. I love it. Keeping the Faith has always been one of my favorites. An Innocent Man is my favorite. Now I love that Greatest Hits Volume 1 and 2. But as far as individual albums, I think An Innocent Man takes the cake for me. But at number one, I'm going with The Stranger from 1977. This album has 7 amazing classics, and I love '80s Billy Joel, but I'm going to side with the '70s here. This album includes "Moving Out," Anthony's song, which I the way the man can tell a story and put you in a place. I remember being very young and listening to that song and understanding what was happening and the emotions involved. I was way too young to know any of that. Billy just explained it to me. The title track, The Stranger, which is one of the best songs he's ever done. Poignant, so poignant. My favorite on the album at the time, and probably still, is Just the Way You Are. And it won a Grammy, I think, for Song of the Year. Just the Way You Are. Maybe that one's too popular. Maybe that one's worn on people. I've always considered it one of the greatest love songs ever, and it'll never get old for me. The Stranger also features scenes from an Italian restaurant, which I don't have to explain to his fans how awesome that song is. Vienna is another one that's classic and great. Only the Good Die Young. Now, this song, I wasn't sure what it meant when I was younger, but I got older, and to me, it is very clear what it means. It means, Catholicism has a real grip on people, and sometimes you just got to be a teenager. That's what it means. And I also have to mention my favorite song by Billy Joel of all time. So it's got to be my favorite on this album, right? Just the Way You Are is wonderful, but She's Always a Woman is my favorite by Billy Joel. My favorite song he's ever done. Love that song. She can kill with a smile. Yes, she can. Billy got it right with that one. He gets it right with all of them. That's it. Number one, The Stranger, 1977. Good stuff. I love Billy Joel. I grew up with him, and I appreciate everything that he's ever done in music. Every classic single he's ever had has meaning. Has meaning to a lot of people because he's massively successful. So kudos to Billy. I hope you understand where I'm coming from. I'm Joe. This has been Twin Perspective. Subscribe to Rosa Pill 10 for more videos like this, and I will see you in the tree. Bye.